Representative Eli Ivankovich.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I rise to ask if the maker of the bill would stand for a brief interrogation. Got to go down front.
Yes, the good gentleman from Lancaster County, the sponsor of the bill, will stand for interrogation.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, if the state of Pennsylvania does not grant this type of exemption and high tunnels fall under existing law, what's the practical impact to any agricultural operation that uses high tunnels?
So what will happen if this bill's not passed? These farmers that put these high tunnels in place on their farm, which they tend to move from season to season, what they're going to need to be doing is putting large earthen berms or stone filter beds to manage the stormwater. And by doing that, it's going to really mess up the integrity of the farmland, and especially on our small farms that are strictly relying on raising produce. So this bill really needs to be passed.
Thank you. And Mr. Speaker, does the utilization of these high tunnels, does it make it so that agriculture operations can grow vegetables in the winter months in Pennsylvania and provide them to people who live here in this state, or are they used for some other purpose?
Representative Vitale, I apologize. For what purpose do you stand?
Point of order. I'm just going to caution the ask the interrogator be reminded that the purpose of interrogation is not to ask questions that are already known to the interrogator or to bring the interrogatee along in his narrative. This is not the point of interrogation. So I would ask to pay close attention to the questions being asked.
Yes. There are times when an interrogator does use, for the lack of a better phrase, leading type questions. But you are right. The question should only be to elicit answers for which the maker of the question does not have the answer. So you may proceed, Representative Ivankovich.
Thank you, Mr.
I presume you're seeking answers to questions you do not know and want to get them out on the public record.
Correct. Mr. Speaker, for continuing my interrogation, I raise beef cattle back in Westmoreland County, but I don't grow vegetables for consumption to sale to market. So my question was, what is the purpose of these high tunnels? Why do they use them? Do they use them to grow vegetables in cold months, or do they use them for some other purpose?
So great question. So what these produce growers do, and by utilizing the high tunnel, they're able to start the crop much earlier in the year, and they can extend the growing season much later into the fall as well. And so if we don't have this, the risks we're taking, folks, is really that we'll need to be buying produce and bringing in food from other countries even, and some of those countries may not even be our friends. So the idea of this bill and giving these farmers an opportunity to start crops earlier and grow them into the fall a lot longer is very important.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.